So now that we've got our warm-up complete, I wanted to utilize the same signals, the same fundamentals that we had without the cow. We're going to add the cow to the equation, give that horse another element of something to focus on. We want his natural instinct to take effect, obviously, but at the same time, he's got to stay disciplined and be listening to me and the signals so that his form stays correct. And we use those things to prepare for when we're showing the horse's form. Not only their cow instinct has to be intact, but their form while they're working is why one of the reasons that the scores differ from if you're marking a 70 compared to a 72. It's the difference in the horse's form and his expression while he's working. So all of those things come into play, but now that we've got our warm-up done, I'm gonna show you the same kind of drill, utilizing the cow as well. And if you're a subscriber, you're gonna hear a lot of the same information that we've discussed in past videos. But the reason for that is we utilize so many of the same fundamentals in almost all of the maneuvers. If you're new to the program, you're gonna start understanding that the fundamentals is number one, and then the horse's natural instinct and ability is number two on priority. So we want to travel across with the cow just like I was in our warm-up. Nice loose rein, squeezing my feet, and the cow stops. I take my feet away without pulling on the horse's head. He was watching the cow pretty good that time, so I didn't have to do a lot to help him stop. But my involvement is making sure he stops at the right place. So he and I are both going to try to read the cow the same. That's the goal. A couple steps back just to reinforce the stop. And now we'll ride to the cow, have it move. I want my horse to react to the cow without me involved. Okay? He's a little slow there, so I have to pick up. Here again, I'm just squeezing with my feet, no contact with the bridle. Take my feet off, let him stop with the cow. Now the difference between this and showing is I would have never let that cow leave that end until I was ready. But since we're training, I'm going to sacrifice where we work, more importantly how we work. So it's critical when you're riding your own horse, don't get caught up in trying to make a show run every time you ride. Break it down into pieces where I'm working on just getting my horse to guide, listen to me, and watch the cow. It doesn't really matter how it fits into the pattern of the cow-horse event. We'll do that later when it's showtime. Okay, so here's a good example. When I was talking about driving the cow and staying close, and I want to keep my horse's nose tipped towards the steer, but still maintain forward motion. There, the cow checked off, so did I. I got to keep his nose over there, use my left foot. Very good. Back up to reinforce the stop. This is an excellent training cow because he's not in a big hurry, so I don't have to be either. It lets my horse think through each step. Now the thing I liked about that entire run was my horse was patient and I was able to stay close without the cow really accelerating. So let everything build. He let me press him away from the cow when we got down to that end, and that's what we were practicing in our warm-up, is sometimes you got to relieve the pressure off of your cow to get it to stop. Sometimes if you stay too close and too tight, you end up forcing that cow to try to outrun you through the corners. So I need that maneuverability in my horse. Obviously it's a little easier when we're going slow like this, but that all will hopefully feed into the live action, and when we have increased speed and increased degree of difficulty for that same maneuver to take place if I need it. So we'll try to duplicate that again. Now I'm going to go back to boxing mode here and just work on staying parallel with the cow, reinforcing that stop, and then I'm going to ride to it. make it move, and then get away from it and stop. Okay, that's just a continual, repetitious, consistent pattern of how we want those horses to work, whether it's boxing, or going down the fence, or even in the herd work. You gotta stop. Every time that cow responds to your horse's position, the stops first, and then the turn takes care of itself. All right, so this cow's ready to go down the fence again. Now we're off the fence, so I'm going to work on steering my horse towards the cow. Okay, that's just a good place to work on guiding. This green horse that's in the bridle and doesn't neck rein perfectly yet, I'm going to utilize those kind of circumstances, those situations, to take him off the cow and just make him listen to my reins and be able to steer. See how he kind of wants to tip his nose to the outside? So I might even reach down with two hands and remind him of his fundamental training of, hey, when we're turning left, or if we're turning with the cow, or if we're spinning for the reining, you have to have a little bit of bend, a little bit of look into that turn. And I want it to happen from that neck rein on the outside. And if it doesn't, I reinforce it with the direct rein and say, hey, you got to bring your nose too. That's another really critical piece when we're working cattle, is don't get so focused, so locked in on working the cow that you sacrifice your form or the simple pieces of having a broke horse, meaning you can slow down when you want to slow down, you can steer when you want to steer. It doesn't always have to relate to the cow. In fact, I like turning away from my cow sometimes just to remind the horse that I'm in control. See, so right here, when that cow moves, my horse is going to want to go with him, which is correct. I want him to think that, but at the same time, I want him to be able to listen to me and steer away. It's not just the cow dictating where my horse is going to be. I've got to be a good leader, and I've got to be able to guide him at any moment. You know, and that really comes down to being safe when we're going down the fence or working cattle with high speed. You have to be able to guide your horse to keep yourself safe sometimes.